Hello. I'm just going to do a little live while I eat my dinner and hang out with you. The window's open, so it's a little bright in my face, but that's okay. I'm just going to advertise my stream because, well, I just made it randomly. So, we're going to talk about a movie I watched last night and also how my day went. And with Marvin's checkup at the vet, and just how I'm feeling today. I'm pretty tired after all that stress, but I'm looking forward to eating a meal, and I'm very grateful to have it. So finally, I got my appetite back. Wasn't so bad as previous times before, but it's all good. I'm feeling a lot better and a lot less anxious, you know? I had a lot of anxiety because I was so worried about Marvin, and just going to the vet is difficult. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but I've had um, I've had some difficult times there, and you know what? Well, it went really well. Just gonna It did. Just gonna do this, and then where's that Marvin? Yeah, so you might be able to see Marvin. She might come over and see us, but she has some of her fur shaved off, and the doctor showed me how to do it properly so I can do it myself. So welcome if you've just joined. I'm just advertising because I just decided to go live randomly. So, yeah. Hmm. It was a pretty tiring couple stressful days though, but I'm really glad that I got it over with, and Marvin's healthy, and she didn't bite the doctor or scratch or anything like that, you know? So it was really good. Okay. Open my telegram. Takes forever. Hi, Muse. Yeah, thank you so much. Marvin is good. She was. She just I how do I explain? So I just didn't bring Marvin to the vet ever since I got her. And I know that's awful and neglective in a way, but she was totally healthy. I was so nervous about going to the vet, and after Mr. had passed away, and then I was, kind of enjoying this new baby kitten in my life, and time just got away from me really. And so hi Mandrake. I know that you changed your name. You're CJ, right? I'm pretty sure I remember. But yes, she is absolutely fine, healthy. I was able, yeah. Hi, CJ. I was able to get her two vaccines that she needed so that when we go in to get fixed, she has all that done. There is a subsidy program um, that will help low income people get their animals fixed. I don't like it will cost me a lot less, but Marvin was pretty stressed. She did some howling, especially like that was her first time in a car ride probably in 2 years. It is my fault. I take responsibility, but she's okay. The doctor said she's doing okay, like that she was just stressed. And like I said, she didn't get angry or violent. Mr. bit the doctor a couple times. when he used to go to the vet, but Salem's always a jolly good fella. He's just really friendly and nice. But yeah, she did really well, and he helped me get off some of her fur matting, and he showed me how to do that myself. And I was really worried because I read online that if the skin gets caught up in the mat, that you could like cut them and hurt them. So it's best to go to a professional or go to your vet or whatever. And so that's what I was doing. And it's been so difficult for me to save money. But thankfully, with the graciousness of the donations that I get sometimes, that I'm very grateful for, um, I was finally able to. Yeah, I was finally able to bring her to the vet. But it just, I don't know, I just start thinking about all the bad things that could happen, you know? Like I don't even know why I did that to myself. My doctor, like the vet for my animals is so nice, and I was thinking because her fur got really matted up over the winter because she's always getting wet, and then she hates being brushed, and then her fur just clumps right up. And then the doctor told me that she's one of these cats that's going to need, um yeah, use even a special comb. No, it said she needs like a regular fur trimming. That's just one of those cats. So, and if once you see her, you'll see just how thick her fur actually is. So that's why she just loves sitting outside because her fur's nice and thick. So she'll probably, oh, my hummus is all stuck to the top. Um, she'll probably feel like I can already tell that she feels a lot better just getting that off of her. I really tried to take care of it. I know it sounds like I just let it go. I didn't. I was clipping them off myself, and then it just got out of control. Like once I would get rid of one, and then another one would show up. So he told me that there was nothing really that I could do. I mean, I don't have to stress her out to bring her to a groomer. She took it really well. She didn't fight. She didn't. I mean, I probably will need two people to help. But yeah, I was really anxious over that. And I really caused myself a lot of unnecessary stress. Like I was thinking, would he like report me for not taking care of her? But he told me, no, 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 nothing like that. Like she's really healthy and in good care. And this is actually quite common, you know? But now that I know what to do, you know, so it's all good. But that was the only real issue with her is that her fur had become so matted. It's just this fine fur that she's got. So Muse was saying I had a cat with long hair that got matted hair too. I had to use a special comb and that didn't help much. Yeah, sometimes their fur is just so long that it gets all tangled together and it's fine. That's what I thought. Like it's very fine, thin fur, but it just mats all up. Hmm. So, you know, I really like I didn't do it to myself on purpose. If somebody was here with me and gave me a hug and, helped to get my mind off of things so that I didn't just kind of stay focused on the worst case scenarios. I don't know. It definitely sucks, but it's just something that, I have to learn to fight through, and I did a really good job. Like I kept myself very calm, and I even was able, to keep the anxious feeling. Like before we left, I had such bad anxiety that I felt like I was gonna shit myself. I kid you not. It was that bad, but I didn't have to go. It was just like this awful feeling of anxiety. Mm. Like I was saying, people can be both. You can have mental health struggles and have stuff going on, but also be intelligent and have knowledge and experience and wisdom to share with the world and gifts to share with the world. In one of the videos that I made that I just haven't had the chance to edit yet, I said, for instance, a creator, an artist, Van Gogh, he's one of the most famous painters in all the world, but he suffered terribly with mental illness, really quite tragically. This is one example. So nobody's perfect. And I feel like maybe this has invalidated some people. Now, there's some people that might have mental illnesses and they runs away with them, paranoia and different things like that. I've got a few videos that I really need to get finished and show you about these things. But I'm just really grateful that I got through it and then I was able to prove to myself that I could do it. And it's going to take practice. I took deep breaths. I find that taking in a deep breath and then holding it and then releasing it through the nose or sometimes even through the mouth really helped a lot. So helped to control my heartbeat and everything. But I found that if I stayed calmer, then it's a much more better experience for my animal. Yeah. So anyway, so my food for tonight, they actually had a special at this shawarma place that I like. It's called Tahini's. And so I got a beef shawarma rice bowl, and it has some turnips and it has onions and it has these crunchy pita chips and some hummus, tomatoes, parsley. What else is there? And it's like this yellow rice stuff. So I'm very grateful for my food. And bless it with the power of holy goodness. That it's goodness for my mind, body, and soul. Cheers. Hi. I used to watch Doctor Who, Muse. Woo, it's a little spicy. I used to watch it a lot, and I think I remember that episode. There was a lot of really good Doctor Who episodes. That show was really cool. It really hit you in the feelings a lot. You know what I mean? Like it was a really heartwarming show. I guess that's why it's like a family show. I watched that spinoff. Hi, Steven. I watched that spinoff a little bit that they made of Doctor Who. It was like war between land and sea or whatever it is. I watched a few episodes and then I don't know. I'm going to give it more of a shot. There was a couple other people weirded out too because it kind of has like the Shape of Water feel with like relationships between fish people and humans. So I don't know. It was pretty cool, like to show like how these two civilizations come together from underwater. Like I feel like TV shows like this, even though it's fictional, it doesn't matter because it gives people the ability to think about things. How would you feel if this actually happened? If we were presented with another species living on Earth that we just didn't know about. And apparently, so they used to live here on the Earth, like a previous civilization before us. And then what happened is deep underwater, the Earth had shifted, and it ended up locking them down there, and so they weren't able to get back up to the surface, right? So some tectonic plate movements had happened or whatever, and it had freed them. So then it became like a problem where, I'm sorry if I'm ruining the show for you, but it's nice to see like human and non-human relations, like not just, I'm not talking about a relationship, but just like how we would interact when one new species is introduced to another. And of course, it does remind you of like the water elementals, which would be like, for lack of a better term, mermaids, okay? Very good. Hmm. I was worried that I wouldn't have enough money to like make sure I could take care of everything that Marv needed at the vet and everything. So I didn't get that much groceries. So I'm gonna get some, but that's why I really need something that would spark my appetite and get me eating again. And I just didn't really have much. I have like Mr. Noodles and rice and stuff. And I didn't really want pasta, so forgive me. Like I know it seems like waste money, but like I said, they had a special on, and so I was just grateful that I was able to get some. It's really delicious. I'm already feeling better. So yeah, Babylon 5, there's a lot of people. I think was it that one? Jenny's dad loved one of those shows. Is Babylon 5 from England? I did see the movie. Welcome, First Contact. You always have good questions. I was just discussing about that show from Doctor Who with the fish people and the humans and First Contact with that. If you haven't seen that show, I think it's called The War Between Land and Sea. It's a Doctor Who spin-off. That's how I found it. I had no idea about it until the last couple weeks. But yeah, is a show that makes you think. Yeah, all of those shows. Star Trek, Stargate Atlantis. I actually have a really cool, here, let me show you. I've got a really cool edition. I know I'm in my PJ pants. um, I have a really cool edition of Stargate. It's so beautiful. I got it at a hawk shop for $5. Look. Cool, huh? And so on the inside, it's called the director's cut. It's so pretty. Look at that. All in gold. That's so nice. I love this movie. And so it's got like this one disc, and then it's got another one, disc 2, the theatrical cut, and then the director's cut. When my internet, there was a problem with my internet box a little bit back there. And so I didn't have any. So I set up my DVD player with a TV. It has a sticker on the back of it that says, warning, my flat screen TV says, warning, may cause reproductive issues and cancer. I did a video on it. I forgot to, I have a few that I haven't edited. But it's been a while back now, so like, should I just throw it in the garbage? I don't think I'll ever be. It's just a smaller flat screen TV or whatever, but yeah. But anyway, so let me see. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted. So yes, I got this really cool version of Stargate. But yeah, shows like Stargate, Star Trek was a huge one. I always said Star Trek was for really smart people. When I was young, I thought it was for nerds. When I didn't really understand it, I thought it was boring. I did when I was young, like really young, growing up. Because it used to be on TV. We only had 3 channels, and it used to be on TV quite a lot. I'm going to get to the disclosure day thing. This is important first. But as I got older, I realized how it does help you think and how you would feel in certain situations, what you would do. Like, I remember there was one episode of Star Trek where there was something called the progenitor. And this one really struck with me because they were a species of people, human looking like us, but there was a male, a female, and then like a they, them, like an in-between person. And all 3 had to be present to create a child. And the progenitor, the third person, was the one that carries the child. Yeah. But they almost treat them like subhuman people. Like she gets like, basically she looks like Dobby in like a little piece of clothing. I think they might wear a collar. So it kind of looks like slavery, right? And so there was kind of like this, I forget which character it was, but they were kind of like, no, you have to, this is wrong. You can't do this. They should have human rights or whatever. And it was kind of like this thing. And in the end, they came to an understanding. So this is the one of the reasons why it's not just about TV programming, you guys. It's much more than that. And I found that one of the things that did cause me so much stress is always thinking of things in a negative way. I'm not saying that there isn't nefarious agendas out there, because there very much are. And again, we're going to get to the disclosure day thing, because I was going to make a video about that. I still am, because it's connected to a video that I did about the divine creator and the eye of providence, which is the all-seeing eye. Okay? Which is connected to disclosure day. But these shows were to help us to understand these things. Yes. Okay. So let's just see. It's got aliens and humans too. Oh yeah. And I mean, like, it's. I mean, if we drop the term alien, just different people, people like us, that live differently, that don't look like us and aren't called human. They are people, regardless of even if it looks like a gray being. It's still a person of its own people. They're people. They may not be human people, but they're people. Just even the reptile people, salamanders, reptilians, they're still people, not human people, but people of their own people. There's a big thing about that. Like, and even with our own civilization, we still struggle with this differences and division and silly things like this. Okay. Now, I do understand that a lot of people were kind of up in arms about Disclosure Day, talking about how it had these gray pushing agendas, like that were being like, these beings are seen in a positive light, that they helped them. I know David Icke was upset about it. Danny Henderson was upset about this. And the one thing is that, well, I'll talk to you first about what I liked about it, because I've expressed, not only on my YouTube channel, I've talked about these stories, but I wrote it in my book as well, where I talked about how I've had many experiences that in my lucid dreams, even though people don't think this is connected, it very much is, this spiritual aspect, and focusing on like the divine creator and all the children of creation. Again, using why they use the all-seeing eye. It's been seen so negatively. This has been a hijacked symbol. Again, I'm not saying that there aren't nefarious agendas, and that of course they're not going to put everything that's going on with both groups, because as much as there's like a galactic federation of good beings, and they're all different, they're not all looking like people, they're all different types of people that have agreed on a certain way of life, a belief system, certain spiritual laws and natural laws, yes, who have accepted the divine creator. And then there are those who have not. You know, those who wish good for the universe and all who live within it, and those who don't. Just like the Jedi and the Sith. It's exactly like that. And I've said this for years. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, or even if you're a supposed alien, okay? Not everything is the same. Not all these salamander, elemental fire type beings are all going to be the same. The same with the grays. There's so many different types of beings. And what I worry about is that we're going to fall into what I think it was Stephen Greer called it once as alienism. But basically, it's alien racism and painting beings all with the same brush collectively, like they're all the same. And I don't understand how people can think that because we, as individual, unique human beings, aren't all the same. We're human, we're people of our own people, but we're all very different. So I truly have always felt that this should apply to all things. Spiritual discernment's important. You'll feel it. It's not just me who has intuition, everyone has this. And you will feel a being's intentions. You know? So I kind of rolled my eyes because it seemed a bit sensationalist, to get so upset. But here's the thing, I liked the fact that they showed that they turned from animals back into beings. And that is a huge indication that they are nature spirits, spiritual nature of being able to shapeshift from animals into their natural selves. I've experienced this a lot. That's why I was talking about my book, is because I talked about Black Puma Lady. I've been seeing Lioness Lady in her animal form so often lately. And I know it sounds strange. I don't know their names, but I acknowledge this. And it's been happening. People will see the owl for so long. And this is a spiritual thing. There's so much confusion. And what I've noticed is that the biggest thing is that they want to cut the creator out of it. This isn't a religious thing. Like I talked about, there is a divine design. Like even in that, what is that? The spiral sequence, like in seashells and plants and mathematical shit, even in nature, in the way that it's designed. This is what I'm talking about. It's not a simulation. This is divine design. And that's the biggest thing that they kind of push aside. There's this big thing about how, they're saying that the Anunnaki created us. And I remember at one time, when I was struggling with different sides of, like push and pull, like I always said, there was a light side and a dark side always fighting for me the majority of my life, probably still to this day. And, it doesn't, I learned this early on that it really doesn't matter, what you look like. Even some of those blonde ones that, are considered to be quite beautiful are working with like beings that would be considered to be hostile, like they say the Greys and the reptilians are. But I think that it'll at least, for even the most removed person from all this who doesn't believe, blah, blah, hopefully it will at least get them to think about how they would feel and react to an announcement like that one day. If anything, like that would be helpful for even, Okay, let's see here. I'm sorry. So, so Babylon 5 is USA. I can't remember that one. I thought there was a British one. Andromeda something? No. Oh well. I don't know that much about Babylon 5, but I've heard of it. Let me see here. Okay. All right, let's see here. So yeah, Stargate Atlantis is an underrated show. I think that in a way, a lot of people say that there's truth in Stargate. They might be working with some portals, and this would also express beings from all kinds of different realms, too, right? I know some people might think that it's kind of archaic to think in that sense, like in creation, but with everything that I've gone over, whether it be past civilization, that doesn't mean it's always just been human beings either. This place has has had a long history. It's old, you know. I was gonna make a video too about explaining like, because people must think that I actually think that the world is flat, and I don't. I have this ability to adapt to different ways of changes in thinking, and when you change the shape and like the circumstances in which our plane is constructed, you're able to see things a little bit differently. Now, if it's flat like a piece of paper, you're able to see it now. We're in the third dimension here, then we have the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and then going down as well, almost like pages of a book. So it's not like I'm walking around thinking this is what it actually looks like. I don't. Like I said before, there is, and I know there's a lot of people who are, really hooked into what other people have to say. But if you can just, for a moment, imagine that there was no one else to tell you, you can't get in your own little craft and fly all the way up in the sky and then look down and go, that's where we are. So it kind of gives us this opportunity to like throw around the possibilities of what it could be. And there is no harm in it. I think that people arguing, almost fighting to the death over it is a problem. But it's almost like mental workouts. Yeah. It gives you the ability to see things differently. It doesn't mean it's absolute. But I think that when people see anything related to, the Terra Infinita map or just flat Earth theory in general, they automatically assume that that's what you think and feel without even really, Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. Okay, so, hi, Stu. Welcome. Sorry, I was just kind of going on and on. I have not checked my emails since I've had such a hectic day and everything, but I will. So that's called the Mandelbrot set fractals and the Fibonacci sequence. Yes. So there really is a divine design. It may, like I said, the divine creator is invisible. It's within all things and made of all things is made of it. It is an invisible source. It is within the aether. It is an unseen divine consciousness, not an actual being. We were all thoughts, just like every single creation that was ever made, from the animals to the trees to other beings, right? They were also thoughts. You and your life was a story written by the divine creator. It's almost like if we are inside a gigantic cosmic body, then each one of us is an idea, a thought. Yeah. But these shows, I believe are designed to help expand our thinking. And maybe for the acceptance of the day, like, because the Kali Yuga, maybe it was just supposed to be like this deception, shittery, just sucks, you know? But for a reason. I don't have all the answers, but I actually did enjoy Disclosure Day. I mean, I've always had this perspective that not all beings are bad, regardless of what they look like. I mean, people have talked all kinds of shit about me in my life, and they've never even met me. You know? So I feel that's a problem. And I know that some people have had bad experiences, right? But to paint all one kind of being with the same brush, I mean, I thought that our civilization, our people would have learned by now that this isn't the right thing to do, right? So, so this movie I watched last night, if you guys don't know what the Thuatha de Danann is, Thuatha, I can't even say it right, but when I first read it, I said, you know what? That sounds like a galactic federation to me. And clicked the wrong one. I don't want the Weather Channel. Sorry, hold on. There it is. Okay, I'll read it to you. Hmm. So, the Tuatha de Danann, also, I remember Elena Danann, that's not her actual last name. She chose that. Spelled it a little differently. Um, Also known by the earlier name Thuathde, or Da, I don't know, D, are a supernatural race in Irish mythology. Many of them are thought to represent deities of pre Christian Gaelic Ireland. The Tuath de Danann are often depicted as kings, queens, druids, bards, warriors, healers, heroes, and craftsmen who have supernatural powers. So, or a divine tribe, tribe of the gods. So, get this. If you have been following my channel for a while, I have made this connection because I talked about elementals, nature spirits, the Sidhe, the Aoshi, all of these things connected to the unseen realm and the Fae, the fairies, and the different denominations of that. Gnomes, salamanders, undines, which are mermaids, sylphs are like beautiful mountain fairies of air element, okay? Undines are water element. The gnomes, which actually live underground, which are the greys. Yeah. I figured this out first in the secret teachings of all ages. It matches. With all these beings that they talk about, it matches. Personality, actions, even with these chakra placements and dimensional behavior. So the reptilians are fire and earth, which I believe on the placement would be lower dimensionals, right? Doesn't mean that it's bad. Under the ground is where the gnomes live. Often these are where the greys are found. Remember when Phil Schneider was digging down the thing and he told the story where they drilled into that cave, fell in, they're like, holy crap, look at that. It's a tall gray alien. That's a taller gnome. So it doesn't mean that they're small. You know, there's different kinds. Okay, let me see what this says here. Oh, Scott, I thought you disappeared. Welcome. I didn't even see you there. Okay. All the old kingdoms knew this. Yeah. Guys, this is why. I mean, I know people think it's silly and superstition, and we're not talking about fairies like Tinkerbell. These were past civilizations that now live in another dimension because their time here has passed, like ours will one day. There's been tons of beings. I said these aliens are telling us, oh, they are just like us. They were just like us at one time. They're giving us all these hints, right? So I gotta eat some of my food. Mm. Mm-mm. First of all, my food is good, but oh, thank you. Yeah, my dinner's good. Um, the movie I watched last night, guys, you gotta watch it. It's gonna blow your mind. They have spaceships, these fairies, but they're not going to outer space. They're coming from underground. It reminds you of Agartha, like how they say inner Earth peoples. Holy crud! It's awesome. This movie's called, and it's kind of for kids. Watch it anyway. Omar with her missing fur. Watch it anyway. Seriously, you will see the people in the blue suits, like the Federation people. They are on the deck of the ship. They have like UFO craft. They can go invisible. Put your cloaking device on. We don't need a fairy sighting. Oh, yeah. They're putting it right in your face. So many big actors are in this film. It's called Artemis Fowl. It's from 2000. Colin Farrell's in it, but Colin Farrell gives me the creeps. I'm not going to lie. He really does. Ooh. Yeah. Oh, so this is the point of it. I watched a movie earlier that day. Okay. It's not related at all, but it's called Greenland Migration. There's another fella, I think he might be Irish, but I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, the same Irish blessing is in both movies, like repeated. Like it's a big thing about the film. So bizarre. It's an Irish blessing that says, it's called May the Roads Rise Up to Meet You. I'll read it to you. Come here, Merv. What's the matter? Come here. Come see me. Come here. Oh, you guys can see Marvin's missing fur. Come here. We're going to get the rest of it off so you don't look funny. But I bet you it feels so good, eh? Yeah. See if you can see her. Oh, she's leaving. Did you get to see her at all? Come here. Brrr. I love you. Such a good girl. Oh, I don't know if you want to see her. Okay, so I'm the Galactic Federation. Yeah, so the government, like I was saying, they know what this is. They're dealing with portals, dimensions, interdimensional travel. Like I've linked all this together. The missing 411 cases where people just disappear. David Paulides has covered this extensively, where people just disappear and then reappear. You know, that's why they used to call it being. I know this sounds nuts. It takes a lot of studying. I've really put all the information well together for us. So on my channel. So the poem goes. It's an Irish blessing where they say, "May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand." That's nice, eh? But they mentioned the Thuatha Danann or whatever within the first 10 minutes of that movie. And I was like, no way. It's connected. I'm telling you, that is the Galactic Federation. The government people know this, but they're not going to tell you this. For some reason, they want people to believe aliens. And we're not talking about, like I said, fairies like Tinkerbell. This is what a lot of people say. And even in this movie, it says, you guys made ridiculous stories about us. You laughed about us. You made us look ridiculous. Yeah. It talks about the whole thing. It talks about the war between humans and these supernatural beings that occurred before. And if you watch this, what was that movie, The Watchers? Dakota Fanning's in it, and they get stuck in that room in the forest, and they're being watched by beings. Those are ancient fairies. Yes, they are. Hold on, let me see the movie, what it's called. What's the matter, Mervin? Oh, do you want to go out? Where are you? So we cannot go outside right now. Where are you? Where are you, baby? What's the matter? What are you crying for? You okay? What? What's the matter, my girl? What's the matter? I think it's called The Watchers. It might be M. Night Shyamalan that made it. Wait, The Watchers movie? It's not that old. They're being watched. It's from 2024. Yeah. No. Shauna Night Shyamalan. I think it's his daughter. It's called The Watchers. So it's from 2024. So, yep, Immaculate Forest in Western Ireland. Yep. The Watchers, it's called. And they were ancient fairies that we trapped underground during a war, and we cursed them down there. And it's actually very good. So that's another movie. It's called The Watchers 2024, a film by Shauna Night Shyamalan. I'll just copy here and paste over here. Oh, good. You did see Marve. You seen her with her fur. That's good. Sorry, I just have to keep up with chat here. But yeah, so that's why First Contact, they do know this stuff. But for whatever reason, they don't want to tell us. And that's why I posted that short video with Suki from True Blood. Because she goes, I'm a fairy? Ah, lame. Because a lot of people think it is, but it's really not. Okay? It's really not what they have made it seem to be with like Disney and cartoons and all that. Garden gnomes don't even look like gnomes. You know? Okay. So, let's see here. I'm going to just... Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah. So this movie with Artemis Fowl is very good. Oh, Marvin's got my socks. Good girl, baby. You got my socks? Oh, I love you, my girl. Come here, come and see me. Got the fur. Oh, there's all your missing fur, baby. Which it feels good, eh? Mimi didn't know that's what we do with it. I didn't know. Now we do it. We're going to shave you down so you look like a lion. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Hi. Oh yes, kisses. There you go. She's all right. Good girl. Why don't you have yourself a sleep after all that stress, eh? Mommy is after she eats. So I really love that movie. I've seen a lot of stuff, and I did enjoy Disclosure Day. I did. You know? I mean, I thought it could have been done better, even. But I think they did a good job. Like, didn't they have like that reel where they kind of showed where the government was doing this, that, and the other thing all through time? So, I mean, like I said, even the most unknowledged person can go in there, and I don't even know if they gave a correct timeline about like Roswell and everything else. I can't remember. But yeah, I didn't think it was a terrible movie. The clicking was a little bit weird. Like, that is something that I've heard them do before, but I don't think that they would do that. It's kind of freaky, you know what I mean? Telepathy doesn't require that anyway. So I thought it was kind of strange. I mean, it could be some type of weird frequency thing, but I don't know. Mm. The thing with a lot of those beings, like gnomes, fairies, sprites, and no, we don't want to make assumptions about what beings are like, but the history on it is that they like to play tricks, that they think this is not, it's not about being sinister. It's almost how they kind of get their kicks because, well, like maybe they don't have very much to do with respect. But it says even about goblins that they'll go into your home and you'll think it's a poltergeist, but it's actually a goblin. That's what normally is causing that. So I think we just forgot after all this time. Like we just forgot they even existed. We thought they weren't real. Oh, thank you, Chris. You're very nice. I appreciate that. Mm, yeah. I mean, I kind of liked the fact that they expressed in the movie that humanity was like starving for the truth. Mm, hmm. It was a little sad too, right? Like the end there, that being, he looked kind of ill, like he had been captive or something for a very long time. But I couldn't help but notice all the similarities between this fairy supernatural race of beings that humans don't know about. They even shot them out of a volcano. I told you they go inside volcanoes and disappear, and there's a reason for that. It was such a cool film. Yeah, I really hope there's more. I really enjoyed it. But oh yeah, so yeah, I read about that. It talks about the banshee, and that makes sense. That being that I saw with the black hair and the water, like she was all wet looking, and that makes sense. There's the unseelie court, which are basically bad, naughty fairies. They're not good. And a lot of them are kind of scary looking too. Yeah, but this goes back. Our people just forgot. It wasn't always superstition. We knew that there were other things in creation. They just had their time. Now they passed into the spiritual realms. That's why, they're called the beings of the unseen realm. They still exist, just in a place where we cannot experience it. We can't see it. Mm. About the Thuatha Danann, they interact with humanity. You have to go back. Oh, it says that. I just didn't want to open Wikipedia because it's so annoying having to look through all that blue writing. Look, they dwell in the other world, but interact with humans. Oh, should I just spit something out? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. uh, interact with humans and the human world They are associated with the Sidhe, prominent ancient burial mounds such as Bruna Bon, which are entrances to otherworld realms. It talks about their rivals. Okay, so sometimes they explained the Thuath de Danann as fallen angels who were neither holy, good, nor evil, or ancient people who became highly skilled in magic, but several writers acknowledge that at least some of them had been gods. Some of them have multiple names, like Thorhan, Valiant Thor, right? We hear this. But in the tales, they often appear to be different characters. Originally, these people represented different aspects of the same deity, while others were regional names. The Thuatha de Danann eventually became the Aes the Sidhe folk or fairies of later folklore. Yeah. The Old Irish word thath means tribe, folk, or people. And that's why you see in True Blood, the guy explains, um, he says the good folk or the little people. And it expresses how, um, and then there's the vampires, right? And then there literally is people who are living off the blood life force of others, right? There's a clip with Roseanne Barr, because I was looking for other people there was a model actually who went missing who was screaming about how they were eating babies and human flesh and all that. I know, as I've been eating dinner. And then she went missing. But I saw a video on Santos Benenci's page when I was looking for stuff, and I'm like, oh, of course, of course he would know. Like, yeah, I'm not surprised, but he's got this clip of Roseanne, and she says they're a bunch of vampires, that they eat people and stuff, and so. Hmm. So maybe True Blood. I mean, they may not be actual, honest to God vampires, but what's the difference? So yeah, True Blood explains it because a lot of the fairies there they look human, just like us, except they got the pointy ears, right? Mm. Mm. And like I said before, I know I said this. The reason why, I mean, it might be a trick to pretend that they're aliens. They might be pretty offended that we forgot about them um, as fellow beings in creation, as a older civilization of like our middle older siblings, because then we have the higher dimensionals, which are like angels, which would be our eldest siblings. So, I mean, just because we don't know about these things, I mean, they could have. I mean, like at Machu Picchu and stuff, don't they have depictions of humans, but then non-human creatures living together? In India, they have that kind of weird stuff on the walls. I mean, all these places were highly, highly, highly spiritual, just like Egypt. So these beings are, in fact, ancient, but not alien. They're only alien because we forgot them. I don't know what the twist is with ancient aliens, because I don't know. Like, it kind of feels safer at first to think that, yeah, well, there are beings out there, but they live so far away, right? Like so many billions of galaxies and all of that. Oh, hi, John. How are you? It's good to see you. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of an itchy nose from allergies, but I'm well. Well, you're okay, eh? What's going on? Hmm. So, I mean, and these beings are interdimensional beings. So, fairies, gnomes, and stuff, they come from the spaces in between spaces. That's why I was talking about going inside the volcano, going inside of mountains, or underneath the ocean. All of these are elements: fire, air, and water. And then some of them live underground. That would be earth. Yeah. So I had a really awful day. I was just so stressed out. And when I watched that movie, it really made me feel a lot better for some reason. Just kind of gave me comfort to know that even though it's a fictional movie, I guess that's what it means to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, to pick out these things, to see these beings in the blue suits and everything else that I recognized and linked it. Well, that's exactly what they tell us aliens are, but it's not. So, I mean, the thing of it is, like with David Icke, like I already, I did so much research into that. I'm not saying I'm 100% right or I know everything or whatever, but the whole reptilian shapeshifter thing just doesn't hold up. I know people want it to be so bad, it just doesn't. There are some really, truly awful, terrible people. They're normal people just like us. They're not monsters in disguise, they're human beings, and they're just really, really awful. I think some people have a hard time accepting that, and they have to kind of, in order to handle it in a way, I don't know. No offense made or meant. I really do feel this. This was blown way out of proportion. Like, he had to make something up for sensationalism. When he got laughed off stage, telling everybody about the Christ and the Son of God or whatever, and they laughed at him, that didn't go so well. So he had to change his story, I guess. All the celebrities they say that are reptilian shapeshifters aren't. There's not. They may be terrible people who have figured out, you know, some of the secrets with life force and within the blood and all of that. The claustrum oil and kundalini and sexual energy, and because a lot of these, I mean, it doesn't mean that this stuff is bad, like the esoteric teachings and studies or whatever are bad. It's that people who use it for bad things get a hold of it and then they do bad with it. It's just like a gun. It can protect you or can be used for harm, right? Kind of the same concept. But Chris, I really do. I appreciate your sentiments. Um, but just stick around and get to know me, and uh, I don't know. I'm not really open to moving anywhere, but I do appreciate you being here and your company. But it would take me probably years to trust. You know what I mean? Not that I'm unwilling, but that will take much time. So, not because it's you, just because I myself have had a very difficult time with people. And, well, hmm, that's one of the things I recognized as well, is that a lot of people, like Corey Good, for example, he's experienced bullying, he had a hard time in life. Maybe it's that he has grown angry towards his own people, or maybe felt neglected or harmed. And it kind of makes you resentful. I found that these beings, in a way, kind of hook into your insecurities or your pain in that sense, especially if you have trouble relating to your own people in that way. Hmm. I know that's something that really was hooked in with me and these other beings, especially, it's like they acknowledged that I'd also been treated really badly by human beings. Hmm. So watch those movies that I suggested, the Artemis Fowl, the Watchers one that I said, and you'll see the stories reflect. There's most likely something to it. Good. Thanks for understanding. I appreciate it. Um, no, this is not a singles dating channel, but you're welcome to hang out anyway. Okay, so let's see. So you sat through your second certification exam last Thursday and passed, preparing for the third one. Oh, well, you went, I am okay. I thought there was something wrong. Well, congratulations, John. That's good. You should be happy about that. Yes. So the book, The Gods of Eden, has a lot of the history of the Brotherhood of the Snake. Again, David Icke talks about this. It's like they have to give you an incentive, something to get excited and interested about. And the one thing about the human ego is that we refuse to accept that humanity can be that bad. And they can. So people will take advantage of that. Now, there is this reptilian type of species, also known as the salamanders, which are the element of fire, which I said I found in the Secret Teachings of All Ages. It explains it there. So I went over this with the elementals and everything on my channel. I've done so many videos on that where I explained about it. I read it all through from that book, and it matches what people are telling us aliens are. Or was I in the comments? Right. But yeah, so it's actually Alex Collier that recommended The Gods of Eden. And I explained that years ago when I watched him from this interview from 1992. And, he seemed really stressed out or whatever during that. It was something that is very important to get out there, some of the things that he talked about then. And, to realize that there is and there has been this group of people, and it's not just men. It is called a brotherhood, but it's not just men. And of course, the snake, because it has a symbol of wisdom and intelligence. And they think that they're smarter and better than everybody else. That's what it is. So you know, I just feel like even with Elena Denon and the alien thing, she had to give it a spin, an incentive, something to get excited about, right? Like no one's going to get excited about fairies, and they don't. But that's the problem. So they had to present themselves as something new. Hmm. I mean, it's not really a good way to start off a new friendship slash like relations between two peoples, you know? But I really do feel it so that we don't associate old legends, myths, and the like these beings are all going to eat our livers or whatever. Even though in the lore it has said that they will lure you into the woods and you'll find like a picnic if you eat with them, then they can like own you or something, and they end up eating your liver. So it even says this about the Jinn. Jinn are not dark demonic entities. Jinn is a word that represents all beings of the supernatural unseen realm. That means leprechauns, fairies, gnomes, even the aliens. What they say aliens are, the Muslims used to tell me, no, no, that's jinn. Even in Hindu cosmology, they talk about their beings within the dimensions, right? They talk about the beings that have the UFOs. You don't want those ones to show up. You want the ones that don't need them, that can teleport and biolocate to your location at will. I mean, I read that now the one reason why you would want to use one of those craft is because it reserves your energy, right? So then there is that. There is that. It does. It saves you a lot of energy popping in and out from place to place. I mean, you need to eat, you need to rest for a while before you could do it again anyway, especially many times simultaneously. Okay, so let's see here. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here with me. But yeah, so right. The Gods of Eden has a lot of really good history. Does the guy get everything right? No. But even in the end of it, it talks about how, both sides are going to have to come to like this resolution, and things will be cleaned up and fixed or whatever. It does have a very positive ending. And if you read the book, it does make a lot of sense, you know? I mean, does the guy know about Jesus and the Christ? No. He doesn't realize that Jesus is an allegorical and symbolic representation of the Christ oil. He doesn't know that part. And that's okay. We can't get it all right. But it is a good book, and it was recommended to me first by Alex Collier. So the only reason why it's probably on her website is either she read it or Alex Collier recommended it to her and whatever. But she's probably read it, from years ago. The book's from 1996. Mm. Allergies are bad today. My nose is so itchy. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's bothering me. Must be blooming something outside. Oh, hi, Pavel. An old book. Yeah. On my Telegram channel, I have the Gods of Eden there for free. And you can download it as a PDF, you know, with little things you can just read on your phone. Yeah. I got lots of books on my Telegram channel. Yeah. So I have like an entire library of books on my Telegram channel that are all for free. And you can just download them onto your phone. There's no virus or anything like that, I promise you. I put them all there personally myself. They come off my computer. You can find that book. I actually have Elena Danon's book on there, The Gifts from the Stars. Um, I might have all of them. I don't know. But I mean, it's not like I put them there. I found those on the internet, So I didn't mean to like screw her over in any way. I mean, she must realize there are some people that are, and no offense, but just they cannot afford it. So I don't know. Because her first book, I mean, it's really cool. Here, let me go get it. She drew all these herself, you know? And I mean, to draw, I mean, clearly that's a water being, a water elemental being. But there's this one, and I got it wrong. She's right before. That's a sprite. They're very small. Fairies are much bigger, but that would be a sprite. You see? Like Fern Gully. Remember Fern Gully, y'all? Those were fairies. You see? So that's Elena's book. And I mean, he definitely, look, definitely, if you think, if I told you that that was a fairy man, a male fairy, you'd believe me. If this had no alien shit, say, oh, that looks like an elf or a fairy. Oh, so she doesn't draw? What do you mean? Isn't Steph Zach's her sister, right? I've seen that channel. What do you mean? She didn't draw it? Are you for real? You mean to tell me that Elena Danan did not draw these? Oh, come on, girl. Is there anything real about you? I have to make sure. It's not that like I have to absolutely how do you know that? Oh, come on, girl. Are you for real? Here I was being like I really loved her artwork. And she didn't even draw it. Well, I draw my work in my book. So Scott goes, most don't draw, they have artists. What? Oh. What kind of bullshit is that? Um, I will like I'm gonna double check it. Like I didn't even look at Steph Sack. First of all, that's a really weird name to say. I don't know. For some reason, it's weird. Am I even saying it right? Steph Sack? That's kind of strange. No offense. I don't know. It feels weird to say. For some reason, it almost feels dirty. Why do I feel like that? I don't know. What is that? Why would she name herself that? It's kind of weird. Like, not to be offensive, it's just a bit strange. Steph Zach. What is that? It almost feels like, when you see like a graffiti artist or whatever and they like sign their name at the bottom of it? That's what it reminds me of. But I've never clicked on that channel. Just a second, I'm going to get a bowl to smoke. But I've never clicked on the channel. I saw that person being advertised and I assumed that had to be Elena's sister. Maybe she had said it was. I can't remember. But yeah, I've seen that. But I had no idea. Oh, thanks, Stu. I appreciate that. Says I'm one cool MR-effer. Oh, I'm a cool MF. That means person. Marv, I love you. You're such a good girl and a doctor. But yeah, that's crazy. But I could show you many examples. These are just different type of nature spirits. Like, what was it? Emery Smith. Oh, look, there's the gray. And that right there is the symbol for earth elemental. That's the element of earth. The triangle with the line, it's only one line. It doesn't matter. They try and play it up a little bit, but that's earth. So that's a gray, and that is a gnome. Now, if we weren't talking aliens, I said, hey, I caught a gnome. Now, would you tell me that you didn't expect gnomes to look like this? Imagine him small, under the ground, just because he's not wearing one of them pointy hats. Yeah, but that's something else. That's something else. I am actually even more disappointed because I really admired her art, and now it turns out to be her sister's. What? Girl. Oh, man. Oh, why can't it be anything good? It's okay, baby. I'm sorry that I scared you away from eating. I know. Are you shocked too? I know. Something else, eh? Oh. Well, I mean, the art's really nice. If her sister did it, then she's very good, but I think maybe that's what she wanted. Maybe her sister didn't want to be in the spotlight, but now she has her own channel and stuff, so I don't know. That's really weird, you guys. I had no idea. This whole time I thought that she had drawn all that, and I actually praised her many times for her artwork. I loved it. Huh. Well, ain't that something? Well, anyway, regardless, you can still see examples of lots of different beings. Now, some of them have come from other sources and places, but yeah. Right. You just reminded me of something. Thank you, Don Bailey. Reminds me of the Descent film, Very Ugly Fellows. So, this is one thing that I picked up on the past couple days, too. So, remember I said about Emery Smith? He talked about a being that had tree branches growing out of its head. This would be a nature spirit or like a tree spirit, an earth elemental, right? But remember how Amy Eskridge showed those pictures of those little dudes with like kind of the cone heads, I figured this part out. So if even you or I were to go into another dimension and it was basically like okay, a water dimension. I used this example before. The longer you stay in this dimension and you eat the food there and you're living there, you will start to appear like the dimension that you live in. You will start to change and adapt to your surroundings. Exactly like those fellas on Pirates of the Caribbean. Remember with the guy with the octopus face? And the guy, they started to grow like seashell hands and, get stuff like this because they were cursed, but they lived on this ship. So that's kind of a similar thing. They changed into the dimension in which they lived, almost like a way of adaptation to keep existing there. So when you see those people, those from those pictures, they look really strange. I thought about this. If they were humans at one time and they did go into one of the other dimensions, depending on which one they went to or a realm, then they would look different. So they were human at one time, but now they have transformed a little bit because of the fact they have lived in another dimension for so long. Balbosa. What's that? Oh, I don't think I can make a fortune off my artwork, but thank you so much, Stu. I really do enjoy drawing when I do it, and the drawings that I have done are important to me because they express a lot of my experiences and things that I couldn't exactly explain at the time from my subconscious that were in there, but I didn't know how to explain them. Right, right, yeah. Yeah, one of the captains in Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, Balbo. Yeah, right. I remember that. Barbosa. Yeah. Right. So Pan's Labyrinth is another movie that deals with nature spirits and elementals and stuff like that. A lot of cultures are aware of these things, you guys. A lot. And I think for the most part, not all, but mostly, it's been kind of forgotten to myth and legend. I think a lot of people just think everything is a ghost now when shit happens around your house or whatever, and they don't actually realize there's like a complete encyclopedia of all these different other types of entities. Mm. Some of them function a little differently because, say, if um, when a flower is born and it dies, a spirit arises from it. It's a flower spirit. If you eliminate that flower spirit, it doesn't come back. They do not reincarnate. They are gone for good. You take them out of existence. So there is that. Oh, you do like the dimension we're in now, do you, Chris? Well, I definitely don't. But yeah, I mean, Pan's Labyrinth is pretty scary, but there's a lot of truth to it. Remember the dude with the eyes? Yeah, that would be a naughty fairy, and he eats the little fairies. Yeah. Hmm. I'm so glad I feel better and all that anxiety is gone. I'm really, really grateful that things went well today at the vet, and Marv didn't freak out or bite somebody. Mm, yeah, my vet was really nice to me. He always is. I just make up all these crazy scenarios in my head, like worst case scenarios. I don't know why I jump to conclusions. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose my cats. It's the end of the world. Like, oh my god. And I can't stop. I don't know why it happens to me. Well, I'll check my email later, Chris. And when I have some energy, I'll write back to you. I just got back to one lady who messaged me on Telegram like a week ago. But I apologized. She did to be fair. She said you can take all the time you need. So I apologized very much. But I finally got back to her. And we talked about this topic actually that I'm talking about. Like, um, oh, my email is when you go, okay, so it's just last minute Lacey at mail.com, mail, like mail. But it's on my about section of my channel. Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to feel a lot better. I can't wait to take a sleep after I eat some food. Then I'll go to sleep. My new pillow's still working wonders, by the way. Everyone should have one of those. It's the best pillow I've ever had in my life. I talked about it at the vet's today, and the receptionist now wants one. I don't clench my teeth anymore. I don't wake up with a sore jaw anymore. And I used to wake up like that. I thought I was just stressed all the time. And I was telling the doctor, like, or the dentist or whoever, my ear, nose, and throat specialist, I was like, I feel fine, but at nighttime or whatever. But ever since I had this pillow, I don't do it anymore. I can breathe so much better. Even my nose doesn't get all clogged up because of the way that my head is positioned on the pillow. Oh, love my pillow. So I really get well rested. But I think, like I hold things in a lot, and I'm glad that I, it could have come out better, but I'm glad that I finally told people, and I hope that they understand. It's not that, like I'm enjoying this right now, but I'd really love to go out and have a coffee with somebody, or go for a walk with someone and have a conversation where, people would talk back with me in like a real in-person sense. It's not that I'm, I said, like, it's not like I'm ungrateful for the connections that I've made online. It's not that. It's just that I require in-person contact, like to just be around other people that I love and am loved by, make those happy memories with others, have laughs together, where I don't feel uncomfortable or feel out of place or unwanted. Yeah, Dawn. So Pan, if people don't know, it says Pan has an army of servants. So Pan is the god of nature, also known as the horned god or horny goat. Yeah, it's connected in that way. But it is because it's a fertility god. That's why. Um, and it is the old god of nature, of like natural law and the way things used to be long ago. But there are a lot of armies and servants. People have heard of these things like bogarts and goblins, the ones that make changelings from children. Yes. And you know what? I used to get in trouble for drinking all the milk and the coffee cream a lot when I was young. We go out for coffee, I drink all the creamers. Well, I found out that's a fairy's favorite drink. Not saying I'm a fairy or anything, but it's just highly peculiar. And when I was learning about the jinn from the Muslims, do you know how they can make human hybrids? The reason why I was told that they pray before making love is because if you have a jinn inside of you and the other person has a jinn inside of them and you make love at this time, the attributes of the jinn will come out in the child. Yeah, they told me. Hmm. I was like, that's interesting, isn't it? So this might be a thing. Don't know, but I swear that's true. I still love milk, but I mean, like, I was obsessed with cream, homogenized milk. The thicker, the more fat, the better. Yeah. It's also really good for your brain, right? Like cholesterol is what your brain is made out of, and like you need that fat for your brain too. So, but I that's true. I always, and my mom would be like, "Oh, there's no milk." I would always get in trouble drinking the milk, but I couldn't help it. I just loved milk so much. Again, there are a lot of hormones in milk. So I do feel like this is one of the reasons why I got my period when I was like 9 years old, because of the hormones in that milk. I would say so. I've always thought that. Mm, yeah. There was a lot of girls that got it young, and it's probably because of the hormones in the milk. Could because of the colostrum oil energy thing, but it also could have been like pushed forward purposely with all those extra added hormones. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't care what the consequences would be. But yeah, so you do create your own reality. It's true. I know that the more I thought of things negative, like even when I thought the Asura was a demon, it really started to go that way in my world. Things started to get scary. And it's because I was creating it. I was perceiving it this way and bringing it into my own perception or my own awareness, my own reality. Yeah. But I mean, I'm acknowledging all these different things, but it's like I said in the beginning of when I started talking, I don't actually think the earth is flat, you know? So I've heard it almost like a judge. I've heard both sides, all these different things. I do understand that these beings of the past have had kind of like a bad reputation, rumors spread about them, about fairies and leprechauns and gnomes, and not all beings are the same. I would like to see all the beings of creation, all the children of creation, living together. I think we could learn from each other. But it has to be done properly, with truth, honesty, and real unconditional love. And when you truly love someone, you tell them the truth about you. You'd want people to know, you know, you for who you really are. So that's why I was saying we need these beings to really speak for themselves, because now all we have is people speaking for them. And so it's really only people speaking through their experience and how they've gotten to know these beings, whether it be through positive or negative experience. You love milk too, eh? Uh, okay, let's see here. Where am I? So yeah, good sleep is indeed a must. It truly is. I didn't realize how I wasn't sleeping as good as I thought. Like I can feel when I lay on that pillow, I can feel the muscles and tendons like all the way up here in my head. I kid you not. Everything relaxes. Like your whole, oh, it's amazing. It feels so good. Yeah, it really does. That pillow is awesome. And it has really helped my sleep. But it's not like, it's going to be a fix all. Like I'm still going to have times where, you know, I call it like where my computer virus attacks, you know, I just can't control it. I've always tried to, you know, that happens sometimes. I just get frustrated with things being the same as long as they have, and I can't understand the extended and really long isolation period. But hopefully, okay, let's read these comments. Okay. Hi, Thomas. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Hi, Pavel. If I didn't welcome you, welcome. And welcome to you, Scott. Okay. Dawn says, affinity of souls. I think we are scattered around the world, and that's by design. It was intended like that by our captors. Oh. Well, I mean, it's kind of a reflection, you know? We have all different peoples from different corners of the world. And we look different. Some of us have different skin tones. I mean, we really even can't get past our own differences, right? And so I guess it's difficult to accept those in others, you know? And the thing is like, well, this place is a material realm where you live out a physical existence. And it does seem like a prison, but I mean, I'm really not sure if the age just has to come to an end on its own. Like there's just these designated times, and we are clearly shifting out of something slow, but it still seems like we're very much in the age of deception with the whole alien thing. It could take quite a bit longer for our civilization to be where we want it to be, truly. But I mean, the division, like within the gods of Eden, like if different languages were created to divide us and then different parts, and so languages, religions, belief systems, but we kind of all got a similar version of things. It's really not all that different. And I mean, I use the Muslim example because not a lot of people know about that one. We all know about angels and demons in Christianity. But when I learned about it from the Muslims, and this in person, I studied most religions. I took part, and explored them in person over the years. And when we were talking about this, in their story of the devil or Satan, it's a jinn, a being from the unseen realm that has risen up through the spiritual ranks and become an angel. When humanity is created and it's chosen to replace these jinn that at one time lived upon the earth before we were ever a thought. They were created before us as the middle children. So it was the angels, the higher dimensionals, right? The angels. And then it was the jinn. And then the humans were created last, being the youngest children in creation. So when we were created and we were replaced, like we replaced these jinn, it was difficult for a lot of them to obey their creator and to give way to this new creation, these younger siblings. We are their younger siblings, and could not bow, could not accept that we were different but had different powers and abilities. But these beings had the abilities of like fire, telekinesis, flying, and all kinds of shit that we don't have. And so, they felt superior to us and again would not obey, thus being cast out of its position to the earth plane with us. Similar story like that. It's the same thing about how Satan gets kicked, or Lucifer gets kicked out of heaven because it will not bow or obey to God's new creation of mankind. It's a very similar story. But in their story, it's a jinn, a being of the unseen realm, which was the creations before humans. We did. We talked about Disclosure Day. Is that what you mean, Pavel? Yeah, we talked about it. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I gave my full opinion earlier on in the stream. I apologize. I'm getting kind of tired, but I liked it. I acknowledged the fact that they showed how these beings can change into animals and then back to themselves. How the little girl didn't feel her cold on the feet was an indication that she may have even been in her spiritual body. I don't know. But I have experienced this where there are animals and they change into something else as themselves. Yeah, I wrote it in my book. There was one that showed up as a bear, a black bear. It wasn't the greatest shapeshift. You could tell, like, hey, that's not a real bear. That's something that turned into a bear. You could tell. I mean, it still looked like a bear, but it didn't look like a real bear. And it just walked out of my closet, boop, 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 into the living room. And when I ran out to see it again, it was standing there, but as a shadow person, like blacked out like that. Dimensionally, I just couldn't see it. But it picked up my baby Salem, and I said to it, "Oh, no. I said, you put my baby Salem down." And he did. He put it down right away. So, I've experienced that. Again, I was sleeping. That was in my spirit body, but a lot of these are spiritual beings. They don't really have physical flesh bodies like we have. It's not the same. They're made of other things. But then again, don't forget, there's also ancient human civilizations that have figured out interdimensional travel. So technically, they are us from the future. Say they went into a higher timeline. When you go into a higher dimension, time runs faster. So essentially, even if you did start here, you'd be like, whoop, well, we still putted along here, but this timeline is moving much faster. So you end up getting to the future quicker than we have, right? We're moving at a much slower pace. Mm-hmm. It may be that with every different dimension, it's just a different version of the Earth. It may be this exact Earth, but then like dimension, just say 3, 4, or 5, 6, like this. It just might be like a parallel Earth with different circumstances and conditions and beings living upon it. Where good is in charge of one dimension, and that's, like a utopia. And then in another one, it might be like a hellish type of realm, where everything's messed up and broken. Hmm. Hang on 1 second here. I gotta catch up. Okay. Mm-hmm. When the young has much, oh yeah, the knowledge is scattered, and they did that on purpose, Scott. Like they just they spread it all out. I mean, it is kind of like a puzzle that you put together, right? I can't deny that all of this research and study has made me smarter, wiser, able to see things in many different perspectives. And I think that's very important. Like I talked about the adaptability of change. The astral and spiritual realms are always changing, especially with your thoughts and feelings, it will have an effect. So that's why it's so important. That's why I said I don't actually believe that the earth is flat. It doesn't actually matter to me anymore. And I said this a long time ago, that it doesn't matter what it looks like, because currently we still have all the same problems that we do, not only on a global scale, but for me personally. And I'm sure you have your own stuff going on that you listening to me right now. So, it really doesn't matter. And like I said, I don't know why people are fighting to the death about it, because no matter how much you show angles, pictures, fisheye lens, it doesn't matter. You really can't prove it to yourself by flying up there to see it with your own eyeballs looking down. That's my only point of it. So it kind of just gives it this roll of the dice option of things that it could be. And this allows you to be able to understand, the spiritual workings of our world, to kind of separate the two things. So you can see the physical, but when you kind of understand this spiritual dimensional thing, it kind of explains how our world works. Not the shape of it, not what it's made of, but how it actually works. This place that we live upon right now and how it works and functions. Yeah, perception is all relative. Exactly. So, first contact says, Lacey, have you watched the Jesse Michaels interview with Jake? Who's Jesse Michaels? Was he used to be a wrestler? Clearly, I haven't seen it. Oh, didn't Stephen Cambion do a video on Jesse Michaels sometime? Is he like a UFO interviewer fella? I think I know who that is. But no, I haven't watched that. I thought you were talking about a wrestler. I've barely heard of him. I'm pretty sure Stephen Cambion covered him on his channel once. That's where I might have heard that name before. Yeah, so parallel Earths, lokas or telas, according to Theosophy. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Theosophy. My favorite teachers, that I've connected with in the spirit realm, weirdly enough, not like they tell me or anything like that. I've told these stories before, where I was collecting esoteric books, and I had gotten all these different ones, and I had a book by Helena Blavatsky when I didn't even really know who she was at the time, but I just bought this one book by her because The Land of Shambhala drew me to it. And I just thought it looks a really good story. So I ended up buying it, but I never read it. And then one day I had this vision, inner vision. I could feel it. I got the freaking arms stand up on my hair, like a hair stands up on your arms and stuff like that, like you're seeing a ghost. I know. And I got this feeling, and then I saw her with my inner vision. I'm not like actually seeing things. I could feel her, and I could see this image manifest in my mind. It was this younger woman though, and I had no idea who she was, but I remember how crystal green, like glowing, her eyes were. Like she had these beautiful greenish blue eyes. It was incredible, like this beautiful glow, but not like creepy or anything. And then she says to me, and I almost seen her in like black and white, which is so weird. Um, her eyes were still this glowing, but like she kind of looked like black and white, indicating like symbolically that it's from a while ago. I didn't realize it was her until she said, "Please read 5 pages of my book. You'll know what it is." And she showed me the image of the book. I'm like, "Oh, that's you. That's you." So this is how, like, I guess spirit realm communicates with me. I don't know. But I know that sounds wild, but it's true. And I read 5 pages of that book and I did know. So this was a book that she put information and knowledge into, but it's in story format. So it's a fictional story where you can get knowledge from. And then I figured it out that a lot of these people have done this. They've, like Corey Good, he says, I made up some fictional stories, and then it was with the spirit realm stuff and everything like that. It just, I don't know. It just clicked, I guess. I know it sounds weird, but yeah, a lot of people don't understand. And again, I covered Helena Blavatsky, Manly P. Hall, Rudolf Steiner, and those individuals before. No one's perfect. It was a shame that, like I had said, there was a video. What was it called? Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And even Helena Blavatsky had an instance where she paid someone to, well, they were on a train, her and some other individuals. Like she paid someone to throw a note through the window to make it seem like it was some extraordinary event from these beings she was channeling or whatever. You guys, the time back then was wild for seances and contacting the other side and all this crazy shit. And like, I'm not condoning it whatsoever, but there are people of the past. It doesn't make her a fraud. It just means that she made a really shitty decision. Probably, maybe because she wanted to be more popular with the subject, or from which, whatever. I don't know. None of those people were perfect, though, okay? I covered that extensively in those videos, though. I did. I talked about, the mishaps, like trying to create the avatar and stuff like that. But I am, I'd say, all right. Well, I wouldn't say well versed or whatever, because I'm not. But I'm pretty good with theosophy. And yes, it's a similar concept, like I explained. Like it's the same earth. Like, for example, I have an experience that I wrote in my book. It's pretty violent. It's the one where the demon throws the animals by the necks. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know there are some ones. I was fighting some really nasty demons, and in the spirit realm, and it's that experience there. But I expressed that it was my apartment, but it looked messed up. It looked like an evil version of it. It looked like a dirty, dark, messed up version. And even the animals were freaked out. They're running around looking for a place to hide. Yeah. And there was even like a darkness in the air itself. So I was still in the same spot, but dimensionally, I had changed spaces. Does that make sense? I hope so. I don't believe in fortune tellers. Thomas, are you old? No offense, but old people call it fortune tellers, for one thing. And who is a fortune teller here? No one. Helena Blavatsky wasn't a fortune teller either. A fortune is something that you find in a fortune cookie. Jake Barber, first contact says Jake Barber claims that he was a special forces helicopter pilot involved in retrieving alien craft wreckage. He also claims that people were abducted and used to telepathically communicate with. I can't figure out what NHI stands for. Sorry. My soul is old. Yeah, right. How old are you? You're giving away your age. I don't believe in them there fortune tellers. No one calls it a fortune teller, sir. Margaret, 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 where are you? Oh, come on, baby, Margaret. Hmm. Well, I mean, they might be unknown advanced craft, but I wouldn't assume that it's alien in the way that we've been told. I just wouldn't. I can't trust anything coming from the government, really. So it's always going to be the opposite or something else. Like I said, there are agendas going on. I know that the feeling that I have is from what I've researched, even with Eisenhower, maybe the beings that they made deals with definitely weren't the good ones, clearly. So, I mean, they would want to support whatever agendas they got going on there with them, too, right? Mhm. Um, well, you're 20 years older than I am, so you're getting up there, dinosaur. But don't fret because we all get old. There's nothing wrong with that. But you gave yourself away by calling it a fortune teller for sure. Nothing wrong with being old. I will be old one day. Yeah. Well, I mean it like I was saying, like we could debate it all day, conductor, about the earth, right? And it's really interesting to think about, even with the sciences and stuff or whatever. And as long as you can imagine it in these different ways, that's good. It helps your intelligence. But with people fighting themselves literally, like going to war over, I remember people were going to war back in the day on Facebook, and I bet you anything they still are. Bet you anything they wake up in the day and they're like, I'm going on that group and I'm going to fight that guy about how the earth is flat. looks so beautiful. Look, yeah. Really? So, the place in which I live was hit by a meteor 1.8 billion years ago. So, I live in a giant hole. My town is in a meteor hole. Yep. I live in a meteor hole. Just me and my food, taking forever to eat it. Well, that's the thing. Um, well, that's the problem. So, conductor, he's like, I just told you it's not up to debate. It's straight facts. See, this is the problem. That kind of a mentality. Look, you're welcome here, and it's all right. But um, like that's what I'm talking about on Facebook. People arguing all day back and forth with giving data and facts and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm also not saying it is because, like I explained many times, I know this is hard for some people. It's just that I didn't want to exhaust myself anymore because I thought, I can't fly up there and see it for myself. So it really doesn't matter. Like, I suck at math anyway. So I'm never going to be able to understand it. And I understand it the way that it is meant for me, right? So it's all good. It's just that I'm like I don't sit there and force people to try to believe it. I give them the opportunity to explore it if they wish to. And I try to explain it how I wasn't even open to the idea until I saw Claudio Nocelli's map and the Terra Infinita map. And this really isn't a mm, common image of what you get when you think of, like, flat earth or whatever. Yeah, I agree, Don. I'll read what he says in just a second. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, right, about flat earth. Yeah. So yeah, it's all good. Like, it most likely isn't what they tell us it is officially. Okay. But, I don't stand on either side of it. I think that, like, we are both spirit and matter, that our world probably reflects that as well. So there's probably a physical body of it, regardless of what it looks like. We could be on a giant flying turtle and we have no idea. And in fact, there is earlier concepts that, like, of samsara, which we are on the back of a flying turtle, stuff like that. But again, this is just like a symbolic and allegorical kind of concept because they really didn't have any way of getting out of the atmosphere whatsoever, and some of them did have this domed earth concept, okay? But again, yeah. So, uh, I know, hun. I understand your need for people to understand the math and the ridiculousness of the things that they have said, right? But again, I know. it's that these things just, people have to reach it when it's their time. Like I said, I wouldn't have um, figured it out and been able to accept it at all if it wasn't for the Terra Infinitum map. It just opened my eyes to see things in a new perspective. Claudio's favorite word. Yeah. Because it wasn't, again, like this disc with water falling off. I just didn't feel like that would be what it looked like. It just seemed like that was more of the psychological operation to lead you away from it, the dimensional reality of things, you know? So it has to happen for people in their own time, the way it will happen for them. It's not going to be the same for everybody. They won't be able to accept it until they have certain pieces of the puzzle, you know? And insulting people, and being, even a child can figure it out. Well, I mean, we have been deceived in quite a way. Even, I was going to make a video about this later, but I'll just touch on it briefly. Like, not all of these people that are working at NASA are these sinister individuals that know the truth of things. I mean, they're regular individuals like you and I who spent their lives at school studying sciences, physics, chemistry, mathematics, all of that stuff, and then they get these jobs, and they're very proud and happy. It's not in a pride where prideful isn't a sin, but they've worked hard to get where they are, and then they're doing these projects. And like Amy Eskridge explained, there are a lot of them who are suffering with severe depression, who don't even want to be on this earth anymore, because when they do create something, NASA just takes it and throws it in the trash pile, scrapyard it. So there's a lot of this stuff, like, even like Amy's dad. I've seen him now. I know what he looks like. I read his energy, and he doesn't seem like a sinister bad fella at all. And a lot of people said terrible things about him just because he works at NASA. But they may not be aware. They're aware of the information they have studied and trusted. I mean, you can't really hate people for that, you know? I mean, it's a shame that they've been deceived in such a way as well. So I'm sure some of them could be compliant, but not all of them. Amy's dad seems like a really nice guy. He seems like he's got a great heart and a really vast, expansive mind, for science and creation. You know, you could definitely tell that he loved his daughter. And I mean, I didn't know even who he was until then. It was just recently. So, I mean, I doubt very much. And it doesn't mean that he's stupid. It's just you got to realize that just like we have our own people that we admire and trust. I mean, I never thought that people taking the UFO subject would make shit up and lie. I mean, I'm sure that they have people that they admire and look up to, and they wouldn't think that these people would be deceptive in any kind of way. They don't know that most of the earliest mathematicians, scientists, and philosophers were all part of this Brotherhood of the Snake. Which designed things this way from a long, long time ago. So yeah. Well, I mean, simulation as in like a school, like where things are kind of pre-programmed to go a certain way within this age of the Kali Yuga. It is called the age of deception, as the golden age is the age of truth, you know? So, like, hey, Salem Jane is rolling around, big chubs. Woo, babs, look at that belly. Sorry. So random. Um, yeah, like it can seem like this, you know, and reincarnation can seem a little bit like almost like a groundhog day, you know, you're doing the same thing over and over again. But it is an opportunity to evolve through this place and kind of graduate out of it. You know, that's the whole part of initiation, is to go through these stages of initiation. And I mean, it even says that initiation zero, you know, people have not stepped onto the spiritual path. They're very much, I got a hair in my mouth. I got it. They're very much asleep, you know. And then in stage one, I believe it's when you step into the spiritual life, you know, even with a religion or whatever. There's different parts of, you know, your consciousness development that you go through here, almost like grades in physical school that we go through. You do this in a spiritual fashion. Yeah, I suppose so, conductor. So, a simulation like the Matrix, where, so this is our vessel that we have right now, but it would almost be like, well, your spirit would be sleeping inside the pod, and the pod would be your actual vessel, right? Actually, these eyes almost look like work like a TV screen, you know, where it's like projecting what you are experiencing. Yes. So it, in a way, you know, it can be seen almost like that, as a simulation where we are here temporarily. Our consciousness will always remain, but this is a temporary vessel. Reincarnation can be a simulation like this. And then if the simulation doesn't go so well, then you have to repeat it until you kind of like master that simulation. But it's very much real in a sense where, you know, what we do here with this physical vessel and the time that we have with it, because we will not have this one again. You won't have these circumstances a second time. You'll have different circumstances in your next life where you will have to gain different skills, different abilities within yourself in order for development. Life is a lot like a video game. Whereas, you know, in a video game, you have to put up your intellectual skill and your fighting skill or your blah, 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 blah. And then when all your bars fill up with experience points, then you level up. Well, this is kind of like reincarnation. So as we are living our individual lives, we are gaining experience points. When you fill that up and you level up, then you won't need to repeat that simulation again. Well, I don't know, conductor. Um, a lot of that I feel might be misremembering things, to be fair. Um, Even with me, like I remember I used to say the Berenstain Bears wrong. Stein or Stain. I used to say it wrong. So I don't know because I can't clearly remember anymore. Some of them were peculiar. They were. And I couldn't quite remember, you know. Like some people swear that the fruit of the loom never had the cornucopia. I definitely remember it being in a cornucopia. So, but the thing about it is, like I talked about earlier with timelines, okay? So now that we know that they're doing things interdimensionally, now that we know that if you go into a higher timeline, um, the time there is moving faster. The reason why I know this or have figured this out is because when Travis Walton, just this example, just this one, okay, there are more, but I use this one because it's the best one. So Travis Walton, when he was gone for 5 days. 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The man only thought he was gone an hour and a half. For him, that's what time felt like. For us, 5 days went by. He was flabbergasted. He didn't believe them. That's how long he was gone for. And that's how I knew. So in other timelines, time runs differently. Maybe in the lower ones, it moves slower. So technically, it might be in the past. So they could go to the lower dimension in the past to do something that would affect our future. Okay. Thus proving like timeline wars and such. I can see how some of these things could work. And that's what would make you a time traveler. Exactly, Thomas. Right. But yeah, the Mandela effect could be caused by um, certain individuals, certain groups going into these other timelines and getting up to whatever they're doing, you know? So it's possible. Again, like there's so many people telling stories and making shit up now that it's just very, very, and it's very inconvenient. Even for a scientific outlook, it's so inconvenient. It makes it so difficult, you know, to kind of what's this? Rustle. What's this? Am I using the right word? Through all of that stuff. Almost like a big box of stuff, but there's this people bullshitting, so you just have to waste more time. There is a lot of that, and that's what makes it so difficult to trust people at their word. I know everyone makes mistakes, but you just can't be sure now if people are running for these narratives because they're popular and they make money. So it's just kind of a little bit of a headache, but we can be sure that most likely is happening. If there are these higher line timelines with these dimensional shit, well, they're probably getting up to no good wherever they are. You know, these elites and all that gets into this stuff. There was one Mandela effect where they say, Neo, what if I tell you everything you know is a lie in the Matrix? One, just before Morpheus offers the blue pill. Hmm. I don't know. It may be a way to see how our minds are functioning, though. Because I can't remember. Um, like even the Berenstain Bears, I can't remember it, so I can't definitively say. No, it was this way. I remember my mom used to correct me all the time. I was saying it wrong. Well, There was one, I will say this, okay? Because I'm not saying that you do misremember. I'm saying that I can't remember it. That's what I'm saying for me. But I remember one because it was always with the Lord's Prayer. It was always, um, give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Since when did it ever become debt or debtors? Like DEBT, debt or debtors. Forgive us our debt. Like what is that? That was really strange because they've said that that's changed. I mean, I know there's so many different versions and translations, but that one I was like, that even sounds weird. Like they want us to forgive all those greedy money buggers, you know what I mean? Or something. I thought that was so weird. That one I heard, I'm like, what? That even sounds stupid. And then I heard people saying it like that. I'm like, wait a minute, it's never been that way, ever. So, that one. 2.5 hours still eating. I know it takes me forever. This is an Uncle Ben's. No, this is I don't know what kind of food this would be. Shawarma. I think it's like Lebanese. Middle Eastern food. It's not Uncle Ben's. Yeah, the Monopoly guy had a monocle. You know, I know there's like these weird things, or like with the Berenstain Bears. I mentioned that one. I don't know. Well, like I said, there could be things that they're doing within the timelines. Then again, I couldn't really tell you. I can't even spell the Berenstain Bears probably today. So I just try, like, because there's so much stuff out there that will get you distracted. You know, not saying that nothing that you've learned is unworthy or anything like that, but I learn about things and then I kind of just move on from it. Like, I store it in there. I know it's there because I had to work on my own development within my own life. And I mean, the Mandela effect just isn't really relevant to my own life, you know? I just had to keep going on my journey. Oh, thanks, Chris. That's nice. I appreciate your support. I know. I remember them. I remember some of them, conductor. I do. I remember. There was some really strange things, but then again, I couldn't remember. My memory's getting real bad. I remember the Fruit of the Loom one. Hey, calmly. Oh, thanks, Chris. Uh, yeah, I know. I know. I've seen all the talk about the Mandela effects and the discussions people have had about it. Well, yeah, it's possible. You know that people are going back and he says Thomas says someone went back in time and changed stuff. It's possible. In this cookie. What? Monopoly Moneybags had an eyepiece. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's what made him cool looking too. He had that cool eyeglass thing. Not mono. How do you say that? Mon monocle. Nah, no, you didn't see how stuff works in movies like that. Things will just change because you're changing it previously, so it just alters in the reality of where you're looking at it. Yeah. Mm. It's cool to think about. Uh, I mean, so did you ever think of it this way? I didn't make this up. I'll never claim to have made this up because I know that that fella's out there somewhere and he deserves that credit because he remember being mean to him on Facebook and he had all these cool words written out. And one of them was GOD, God, but General Operating Director. So if you're meaning it in that way, where things change and then the general operating director rewrites the code to reset reality from where it was changed in the past. Remember, Source, God, the divine creator, is basically somewhat just an observer, maybe a follower and a creator all at the same time. That's what we have here. We have creators, followers, and observers. And you can be any one of these things at any given time, or all three of them at the same time. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Chris. I appreciate you subscribing. I'm glad you're here. Well, no. I mean, even our brain can be like a computer conductor. In fact, our brain is one of the best organic computers that there are. And it was actually designed that way. You know, it's basically like that. So, I mean, it can be somewhat similar. I mean, maybe even the spiritual code is different, you know. It's nice to talk about though. I really appreciate you being here to talk to me about it. I'm just getting a little sleepy to be honest. I usually only stay on for about 3 hours, so usually when my energy kind of starts to run out, but I am enjoying this. This is nice. I gotta order what's it called? That hair trimmer that the vet has. It's WAHL. The brand is on it. It's purple and it has some little paw prints on it. I want to get the same one he's got. I liked it. It's a nice color, and then I'll be able to shave off the rest of Marvin's fur. She needs all that fur shaved off. And then when it grows back, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to get her some, well, for me, brush gloves. They're gloves that you put on, but then it's like got brushing, so you can like brush them like this, like they're being patted. I'm gonna try to do that because she hates all the brushes that I have. Yeah, I do agree that. See, this is the thing though. You got to remember that the people that are in charge of all of this are against nature. So they're going to go every way artificial. So they set up cities energetically to resemble that for a reason. Yeah. Just like Neuralink, that thing Elon Musk's trying to sell everybody, and now Elena Dunn's like, oh, Elon Musk. No, 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 no. It is Neuralink is the artificial version of what your pineal gland can do. We already have this naturally. This is nature. They want to make an artificial version, of course, which they can control. And you'll probably start hearing ads being played in your head. You know what I mean? Oh, what a nightmare. And there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, wait, you can pay a subscription for $9.99 so that you don't have to hear the ads. But that's what it is. Everything that they say that Neuralink can do, we can do naturally with our pineal gland. Yeah. So, and that's how the beings control like UFOs and stuff like that. They're spacecraft. It's actually telepathically connected. Like how I showed you with that we oppose deception message. Machines don't write conduit closing. It just closes the conduit. It completes the action. It doesn't say it's going to complete the action. Like when you tell your computer to shut down, it doesn't go, I'm shutting down now. No, it just executes the action and direction that you've given it. It doesn't write the word out. That's one thing about the message. So, and the reason why some things are capitalized on purpose is because it was done with thought and feeling. So, believe has feeling to it. Believe there is good out there. Yeah. Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. So, oh my goodness, Chris. I mean, is this what it's going to be like with you? It's last minute Lacey at, I told you this before, at mail.com. On the page, last, let me see, MINUT, there, okay? That is my bloody email. There, sir. It's okay. It took me a little bit to get used to social media as well. I don't think I really like I don't feel hungry anymore, so I don't think I'm gonna eat all of my food. I'm gonna save it. I'm getting tired and I want to go to sleep. I'm gonna eat this bread and I'm gonna get the rest of my tea. But yeah, I'm sleepy now. Mm, mm, mm. Ow. You're welcome. So, I don't know. I hope you all enjoyed this live stream. I was kind of worried that people would be worried that I wasn't okay, so I came to let you know that I was. And then I made it through the day, and then Marvin did really well at the vet, and I'm very grateful. I prayed, I asked for angels and ancestors and guides of benevolence and goodness to come down and help us, and I was so grateful, to help my Marv especially, because she was pretty stressed out, but it could have been worse. So it was good. I have. I've watched all of David Paulides' documentaries, except I think he made a new one. His newest one, I don't think I've seen. He just put one out recently, but the hunting I have seen. The one about the hunters. Um, I saw the one about the first two of them. Or isn't it called The Hunted, not The Hunting? I'm pretty sure it's called The Hunted, Missing 401, The Hunted. Where all those hunters go missing, but they seem to be being hunted. And that's the one thing about nature, right? Like, a lot of nature beings don't like hunters. And so they'll hunt you back. That's how it works out there. In fact, I used to say that. I used to get mad when I was a little girl. I didn't want people to hurt animals out in the woods. It was unfair, even though I didn't really realize how cow meat ends up at the store. But and I would say I wanted to become an entity when I die in the woods, and I'll hunt the hunters back, see how they like it. That may have something to do with it. Again, a lot of those national parks have a lot of portals. Don't know if they were just naturally there, or they were more so maybe allowed to be more open there without, I don't know. But for some reason, in those national parks, there are a lot of those portals and stuff. That Monica Reza just disappeared. She just vanished. That's the only explanation. And David Paulides says, and I agree, so, like, he was the one who said, you can just be walking and you walk into one of these things. Yeah. You won't even see it. And hopefully you notice that something has changed, but most people won't. And so I know he doesn't like to go into like the woo stuff, but he does a little. Talks about it a little bit, but he doesn't like to make assumptions or anything because he hasn't really seen it or experienced it for himself, I would assume. I mean, me neither to a certain degree, but I've heard so many stories of that. It just must be that they can just walk right into them and you don't have the vision to see it. So, but yeah, the Missing 411 documentaries were excellent. Yes, I did. I have seen the OA. Yeah. Sort of similar to what we're talking about. Like, you can see her spirit, traveling in between dimensions and realms. And I mean, technically, I suppose she wouldn't be like an angel, but she would be a higher dimensional. Yeah. But that's what an angel is, a higher dimensional being. So I guess, yeah. But I did. I enjoyed the OA. The energetic movements were very interesting, almost like breath points and stuff like that. That was really, really cool when they were doing that. Yeah, that was really neat. And that one there wasn't, I think maybe in the second season of it, or this young group of boys, this redheaded girl was doing that with the group of them, and they go, man, whatever she's on, I want some. So it looks like she's on like a drug trip. That was so funny. Yeah, like, woo! All that shit. Yeah, but that's also energy, frequency, and vibration thing, eh? With the movement, is energy, frequency, sounds, vibration. They're making things like that. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Weird as hell. It probably would be weird. It's probably not like abracadabra. It's probably like ooh. It probably is. It's probably weird as fuck. Yeah. They said this truth is so strange that no one would believe it. Well, I believe that. Yeah. Oh, one of the most interesting stories, First Contact says, was the hunter was abducted and his health problems were cured. Yeah. Well, he probably met some of the healers, like we talked about earlier with the Thuatha Da Danann. These beings again were queens, druids, or kings, queens, druids, bards, warriors, heroes, healers, or as I like to call it, spiritual doctors from the spirit school. I mean, the spirit hospital, and craftsmen who have supernatural powers. These are the Thuatha Danann. So if you missed that earlier in the stream, we talked about that. But yeah, so there's also the spirit hospital where I've been there several times. But if I suppose they can come into our dimension for certain amounts of time and maybe physically heal the body. I heard a story once where this guy had his lung cancer healed after being abducted. They told him we were cleaning out your lungs, and he actually felt stuff coming out of his lungs. And they cleaned him out. Well, yeah. So we are energy, and we out dance. We can dance out and activate and recalibrate our energy and set ourselves on fire. It's like being an energy master manipulator. Yeah, yeah. There's something to that. Um, but who knows? Like I was saying, it seems like an energy frequency vibration type thing. Almost like ever that movie Everything All at Once, all or whatever that was. That movie there where this lady had to do weird shit like bite off her own thumb in order to create a timeline ending that she wanted to get to. Like that. Okay. Well, I finished my bread. I brushed my hair. It was really windy today. So I have like wind-blown rooster hair today. It's all good. All right then. Well, go and watch that movie I told you to watch. Whichever one, the Watcher one or the Artemis Fowl, and go see how the Artemis Fowl one. You'll see like how the people in the blue suits, like here, the Galactic Federation people. You'll see how similar that looks. So, yeah. But I don't know if they've ever made a second one. I didn't even check if there's any like sequel or anything to it because it was made back in 2020. So I hope so because it was really good. I liked it. So, okay. Yeah. Okay, well, I really appreciate y'all being here. And, I'm glad that I got to eat. And honestly, I'm going to go to bed now. It's 9 p.m. I'm just going to make sure the cats have their food and litter's all good. And do everything. I'm going to bed. So it was great hanging out with you, though. I'll come back and hang out again, maybe at a earlier, more scheduled time. And yeah, it's really bright. I've got everything turned up all the way. Yeah. So my reflection in the glasses was, I didn't realize that until now. Thank you. I hope you all sleep well too and have good dreams, happy dreams. So, plus that movie, like Artemis Fowl, is it's not kiddish, but it's clearly made for younger individuals. So it's not like it's going to be a bad movie to watch before going to sleep anyway. It's not scary or anything. The other one is. The other one is very scary. The one where they're trapped in the woods, The Watchers. That's by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, or whatever I said. I think it's his daughter. So M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. I heard some guy on TV say that a long time ago. Shamalama Ding Dong. It's hard to say. M. Night Shyamalan. Anyway. So good night, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed being here with me. Again, sleep well. I'll see you next time. It was nice talking to you too. Thanks for being here, conductor. It was great having a conversation. Really and truly. I am grateful, and I am slowly losing power. So I'm going to have to go and recharge the old batteries, Take care, everyone. See you next time, okay? I'll say goodnight here in the chat. And I will see you all again soon. Okay? Take care, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all your love and your support. Bye! I was looking for Merv, but Salem is here and Merv is up there. See her? Up there. Right at the top, Queen of the Castle. Okay. Good night. Bye.